everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this W7 Honolulu bronzer review. And thank you so much to my loyal subscriber 123 Lover, and I will blend her full YouTube name somewhere around there. So thank you so much for requesting this review. This bronzer is available for around $5 or €5 on the American and the German Amazon. As far as I know, this is not available in stores, and this does ship from the UK, and those prices do include shipping, and you're getting 6 grams of product with this one. And just by glancing at the packaging, you've probably noticed that this is meant to be a dupe for Benefit's Hoola bronzer, and that bronzer retails for $29 in the US and 35 euros in Europe, which is quite a lot of money. So this comes packaged in a cardboard box, and it actually comes with a brush, which is nice and soft, and I think that it is very good for placing the bronzer right where you want to have it. I'm not saying that this is the best brush out there for blending it out. I do prefer to use other brushes to blend it out, but it is nice and narrow and very soft, so it is nice for that initial exact placement. And under this protective cap you have the product itself. So let's jump right into the swatches. This product is nicely pigmented and it feels so buttery soft to the touch, and this is obviously a heavy swatch on the skin. It is matte, which is a big plus. Now, the issue that I've had with it is that I don't find it to be the coolest toned bronzer out there, and at this point I will try to change the white balance on my camera, because as far as I can tell by glancing at my screen, I think that this is showing up a bit more orange on the screen than it does in real life. So let me fiddle with those camera settings a bit. So previously I had the shade white balance, and now I'm using just the daylight one. But as you can see, this is not a cool toned bronzer. It is completely matte, but I find there is some warmth to it. Now, I'm not saying that this looks orange. Actually, on the skin, and I've worn this numerous times, it looks very natural, and I've used this both as an all over the face bronzer and as a contouring product. But I think I would have enjoyed something just a little bit cooler tone, so more to the taupey side of things than leaning to the brown side. And let me swatch just some more bronzers that I have in my collection to hopefully give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. So first, some completely matte options. I will be swatching one shade out of the e.l.f. Cool Bronzer, the one that I find to be the coolest looking in the pan, next to this Honolulu bronzer. Okay, I have to build it up a bit. The Honolulu over here is definitely more pigmented, but this one is also very creamy to the touch. Not quite as creamy as the W7 one that I previously swatched, but as you can see, this one is quite a bit cooler toned than the Honolulu one. And then next to it, I'm going to swatch the bronzer out of Sleek's Light Face Form palette. This one is also super buttery soft, probably just as buttery soft as the Honolulu one. Again, I find this one, the Sleek one, to be just a bit cooler than the W7 one, although not as cool toned as the coolest shade in the e.l.f. Cool Bronzer. And now I'm also going to swatch the new e.l.f. Pressed Mineral Bronzer in Tan Toffee next to it. Now, I actually think this one is warmer even than the W7 one. And this one actually leans a little bit to the orange side of things. I haven't worn this one on my face yet. It does feel amazing in the pan, but I will have to see how it works out on the face. And since I began the swatch fest, I will just go on with the e.l.f. Loose Mineral Bronzer. This is in the shade Bronze. There's just one shade to it. This being a loose product really blends excellently into your skin. And I do think it's a tad bit cooler than the W7 one. Again, not as cool as the e.l.f. Cool Bronzer, but still cooler than the W7 Honolulu one. And then we may just continue the swatches just for the sake of it with some bronzers that are not totally matte, and this is the bronzer in the original e.l.f. Duo, which nowadays is called St. Lucia. Again, I think this is a cooler tone than the W7 one, even a little bit cooler than the e.l.f. Mineral Bronzer, But if you look at this one closely in direct sunlight, you can see a little bit of shimmer. Now on the face, if you apply this one as a contour, you cannot actually see any shimmer because obviously on the face it is blended out, whereas this would be a really intense swatch. And again, that shimmer is only visible in direct sunlight. And since we're going at it, let's just try one of the e.l.f. Baked bronzers. This is in the shade Los Cabos. This is definitely lighter in shade and it is definitely warmer, so this one would be a better product to use as a bronzer all over the face as opposed to a face contour. Let me also give you an idea of what this looks like when you apply it with the brush that it comes with. So I just dip the brush into the product, and when I do so, this does kick up a bit of powder, and then you can just place it down where you want it. Obviously it will not be as concentrated as the finger swatch, and since it's not as concentrated, it doesn't look quite as warm. And then you can blend it out, and I normally use a regular angled blush brush to completely blend it out. It does blend out very well and it is very smooth, despite the fact that it is very pigmented. So looking at all these bronzer options, again the first two ones are the W7 Honolulu one. I have to say that this one is actually not my first option in terms of a contouring powder. It is a very good option, it is a solid product, and it is really good for everyday use. But if I'm getting ready for a special event and I'm looking to use my #1 preference in terms of bronzer, I will not be reaching for this one. So in terms of pros and cons, I would say that the cons of this product are the fact that the packaging is cheaper than what you would get with the Benefit Hula bronzer. There is no magnetic closure on this lid, and there's also no mirror included. You can also expect a longer delivery time because it ships from the UK, and as I was saying, I don't think that this is available in any stores. I do think that the product is a tad bit powdery, not a whole lot, but when you put the brush into it, it does kick up a bit of powder. And the biggest con for me is that I find it to be a bit on the warmer side. I'm not saying that this is orange, and as I was saying, it does look natural on the skin, but at the same time, this is not the coolest bronzer that you can get. And going over the pros really quickly, this has very good pigmentation. It is matte, which is a huge plus. It blends easily and nicely. So this makes it a very versatile product because you can use it for a range of skin colors, and you can also choose to use it as an all over the face bronzer or just a contour powder. As I said, it does give you a natural look. Even on my very fair skin, this blends out nicely. It is affordable at just $5 or €5. You are getting very good quality. You're probably getting a taste of what the Benefit Hula would be without spending the money for it. And also the brush included with it is not useless as it tends to be with more affordable products. It is nice and soft, and it is really good for initial placement. So if I were to give this product a grade, it would probably be an 8 out of a 10. My biggest gripe with it being that I was on the lookout for a really cool toned bronzer that I could use for contouring, and while this will do the job, I don't think that this is the best option for contouring out on the market. I hope that this review was helpful. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch. If you've enjoyed this review, please give it a quick thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Of course, it is completely free to do so, and it really helps me out when you do that. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!